Cristiano Ronaldo makes about $10 every single second of his life. Not a week, not a day, a second. By the time you finish reading this sentence, he has already earned more than some professional footballers make in an entire week. And somewhere else on the planet, right now, another professional footballer, same sport, same rules, same dream, is standing on a dusty pitch, waiting for a paycheck that might not even show up on time. This isn't really a story about Ronaldo being overpaid. Everyone already knows footballers at the top make absurd money. This is a story about something almost nobody talks about, how far that gap actually goes, all the way down to the very bottom of the same sport. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how wide the gap really is, and why it exists in the first place. We're going to walk down through 6 layers of football's economy, from the very top to the very bottom of the same profession. Every layer gets more shocking than the one before it. Layer 1 starts with the single highest-paid athlete on the entire planet. Cristiano Ronaldo is currently the highest-paid athlete in any sport, anywhere in the world. His total compensation for the past year is estimated at $300 million. Break that down, and it comes out to roughly $5.77 million a week. $822,000 a day, $34,000 an hour, $566 a minute, and somewhere around $9 to $10 every single second, whether he's playing, training, or fast asleep. His base playing contract with Al Nassr alone is reportedly worth over $200 million a year, before a single endorsement deal is even added on top. Ronaldo has reportedly become the first team sport athlete in history to cross $1 billion in career earnings. And at this point, some reports suggest his overall net worth has already pushed past $1 billion. Lionel Messi, the man most consider Ronaldo's only real rival for greatest player of his generation, earns an estimated $140 million a year. That sounds enormous. And it is. But it's less than half of what Ronaldo makes in the exact same 12 months. Messi's guaranteed base salary at Inter Miami is reportedly around $28 million a year. Ronaldo's base salary alone, before bonuses, is more than 7 times that amount. 2 of the greatest footballers to ever play the game. Same sport, same era. And even between the 2 of them, there's a gap this wide. If the gap is already this extreme at the very top of the sport, imagine what it looks like everywhere else. So let's step down from the 2 most famous athletes on the planet to a completely normal starting player in one of Europe's biggest leagues. The average weekly wage in the Premier League is reportedly around $75,000. In Spain's La Liga, the average sits at roughly $60,000 a week. In Germany's Bundesliga, it's closer to $50,000 a week. These are still extraordinary salaries. Nobody is asking you to feel sorry for a Premier League regular. But compare any of these numbers to Ronaldo's $9 a second, and you're suddenly looking at an entirely different financial universe, inside the exact same sport. Now go 1 level further down, into leagues most casual fans couldn't even name. In the Netherlands' Eredivisie, the average weekly wage is reportedly around $15,000. In Major League Soccer, once you exclude a small handful of superstar exceptions like Messi himself, the league-wide average sits at roughly $12,000 a week. In Brazil, one of the most football-obsessed countries on earth, the average professional wage is reportedly closer to $6,000 a week. Still a good living, by almost any standard, but already worlds away from the top of the sport. And this is exactly where the story stops being about rich versus richer, and becomes something else entirely. According to a global survey by FIFPro, the World Players Union, covering close to 14,000 professional footballers across 54 countries, 60% of them earned less than $2,000 a month. Not a week, a month. The median monthly income among the players surveyed sat somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000. 41% of players said they had been forced to wait for wages that were already owed to them, sometimes for months at a time. FIFPro highlighted the case of one Nigerian striker, reportedly left unpaid by his club for months, banned from first-team training, and at risk of losing his own home over unpaid wages, all while still technically under contract as a professional footballer. These are professional athletes. People who train every single day, compete under the exact same rules as Ronaldo, and some of them can't even count on being paid on time, let alone paid fairly. And if you think the gap can't possibly stretch any further, there's one more layer hiding underneath all of this. In England's Women's Super League, the top division of the country's women's game, reports suggest 88% of players earn under £18,000 a year. Worldwide, FIFPro's own research found that half of all top-division women footballers receive no pay at all for playing the sport professionally. Even at the Women's World Cup, the single biggest stage that exists in the women's game, reports suggest 1 in 3 players earned less than $30,000 a year from football, combining both club and national team income. Some of these athletes are quite literally the best in the world at what they do, and they're still being asked whether they can afford to keep playing. So let's put the two ends of this side by side one more time. At the very top, roughly $9 every single second of every single day. At the very bottom, inside the exact same sport, professional athletes going unpaid entirely. Same game, same rules, same ball, two completely different economies. So why does a gap this extreme exist inside one single sport? 3 reasons keep showing up, over and over. Reason 1. Broadcasting and sponsorship revenue in football is brutally concentrated at the very top. A small handful of leagues, clubs, and individual players generate almost all of the sport's global commercial revenue, and that money flows overwhelmingly toward whoever already has the biggest personal brand, not necessarily whoever has the most talent on the pitch. Reason 2. Football's labor market is a textbook case of oversupply. Millions of hopeful players across the world are competing for an extremely small number of professional contracts. When that many people compete for that few jobs, wages get pushed down hard, especially outside the handful of leagues with real broadcasting money behind them. Reason 3. History and perception still shape pay far more than current performance does. Men's top-flight football spent more than a century building its commercial machine. Television deals, global sponsorships, worldwide audiences. Women's football and the lower tiers of men's football are still fighting for a fraction of that same investment, regardless of how good the football on the pitch actually is. Put those 3 together, and you get a sport where 2 athletes playing under the exact same rules on the exact same size pitch can end up living in financial realities that don't even look like the same industry. From a player earning roughly $9 every single second, to a professional athlete on the very same planet earning nothing at all for playing the exact same game. This is one sport, quietly running 2 completely different economies at the same time. Ronaldo's wealth is absurd, but the real story isn't the top, it's how quickly that fortune disappears as you go down the football pyramid.